Hey, Baker, how'd you get my intro on your channel? That's weird.
Yeah, I stole it in the middle of the night.
Welcome,
I have
everybody.
to steal from the best.
Did you like our dual stream setup? We got the Danish flag here and everything. Welcome. This is a dual stream of day two, the morning part, anyways, of the Texas v. Ronald Border Patrol murder case. So we left off with the yesterday. We had opening statements. We had some preliminary matters, a lot of weird kind of preliminary matters that Baker you covered quite extensively. The opening statements, which were both bad for different reasons. Like the state went too long and got too much into the weeds and into the woods. And then the defense was literally 3 minutes and 16 seconds was their opening statement. So they were both bad for different reasons, which was kind of a fun dynamic to watch. We had the first witness yesterday who was, I can't remember her name, sister of the victim.
Angelica.
You say it way better than I would have. And then we had, oh God, I can't remember. We had three witnesses.
Had two medical people.
That's right. We had
we had the doctor talking about if it was a spider bite or what it was, and or the people who was out doing the autopsy, and then the one they wanted to ask without the jury in the room. I don't know what her expertise was.
That's right. Yeah. So we had the medical examiner that testified essentially about a spider bite. See, the interesting thing is that the defendant is on trial for stabbing and killing his mistress and their love child. Essentially, I don't know if it's confirmed, but the alleged love child, who was 22 months at the time,
and 20, 18 or 20,
or 20 months.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite 2. That's all I remember. It wasn't quite 2. They keep referring to it as a baby. But for some reason, like half of the opening statement and all of the first 2 witnesses, really, for the most part, were focused on a bug bite or some sort of mark the child had like 6 weeks prior or 4 weeks prior. And it's really weird because that didn't kill the child. The stabbing killed the child. So why are we so focused on this bug bite? The medical examiner testified yesterday that she examined the bug bite or the mark on the child's leg and determined that it was in fact from a syringe, even though the doctors that the child was taken to at the time, like 3 visits, all concluded that it was a bug bite. And then what the defense wanted to do was impeach this witness who apparently practiced in Alabama at some point in the past and misdiagnosed the cause of death of an infant, contrary to 6 other medical professionals who said the other. And so it led into this big lawsuit and all kinds of nonsense. So they wanted to impeach her with this, basically saying you have kind of a habit of going against what others say, and you kind of get it wrong most of the time. So there was a big sidebar or an evidentiary hearing regarding that outside the presence of the jury. The state was allowed to, or the defense then was allowed to examine the witness, impeach her essentially with those allegations for a little bit. And then she was released. So I don't know if she's going to be back again. But I feel like there was also a third witness. Was there not a third witness?
Yeah, there were Angelica, the sister, then the doctor who did the autopsy, and then the expert.
Yeah, and then the chief medical examiner. That is who was on the stand.
But did they get her back in front of the jury? I went to sleep just around midnight here, and I think they were starting the cross-examination of the Alabama woman. Did the jury come back in and hear the questions for her?
Yeah, I can't remember. Yesterday feels like a blur. I can't remember. We'll find out in a few minutes, right, folks? We'll see where we are. Yeah, so the medical examiner got a guy convicted years ago, and it was overturned because other medical examiners agreed. Yeah, there was like 6 that said, yeah, no, this woman got it wrong. And so this guy's conviction was overturned. That's what they were impeaching her on. It was a big case, and there was like a lawsuit involved with it, and there was all kinds of mess.
Yeah, but she just left Alabama because her and her son didn't want to stay there.
The pediatrician, that was it. The sister of the pediatrician, and then ME. I knew there was a third witness. So the ME is where we left off. I believe her cross-examination ended yesterday, and then the court said, all right, well, we'll just cut a little early. So I believe the ME is off. We did have the pediatrician. That was the one that said, yeah, I did 3 examinations, and I always concluded that it was a bug bite, which was an interesting witness to call from the state's perspective. First of all, I don't know why this is such a big deal. Secondly, why is that? Maybe they're just trying to get ahead of it. You know, they're like, we know the defense is going to bring this up, so we might as well call the medical or the pediatrician now.
This, yeah, she did say that the necrosis would be in the top of the skin. It wouldn't be in the bottom of the wound. But I can't get that to make any sense. That if the bite is deep enough, it can turn necrotic.
Right. And my thought, though, is, and there was no questioning about this. And again, the defense attorneys and the prosecutors all have way more information than I do. They have a trial strategy that I don't have. But why was the idea that the child might be allergic to a particular bug bite, was that not mentioned? Because anecdotally, right, my brother apparently had, when he was younger, severe reactions to bee stings. Me, it was like whatever, it was like a mosquito bite. It would just go away. But his whole arm swelled up. It was like a rock. The skin cracked. It was bad. It was like really hard because he had an allergic reaction. Was that not ever, that was never questioned about? So I don't know.
As I wrote in chat yesterday, my daughter, if she doesn't get antihistamine from just mosquito bites, she swells up very bad. And it looks kind of like the wounds on him because there's so much pressure beneath the skin. So we always had, even if it's just a mosquito bite, we had to give her antihistamines. So it could be just a normal allergic reaction, in my opinion, but we don't know.
I'm not a medical
baker,
expert.
you're a lawyer, so
yeah, right. You're a baker. I'm a lawyer, and neither of us examined the child. And most importantly, the one who did examine the child, the pediatrician, at the time, over 3 separate examinations, said it was a bug bite. Okay.
Yeah.
But again, why is any of this relevant? I'm assuming the argument is going to be made by the state that he attempted to kill this child because he didn't want it. He didn't want the obligation. He didn't want his wife to find out or whatever. And that failed. So then he had to do the stabby. So assuming that's the argument, fine. But again, why are we spending the entire first day on it? I don't even, they might spend today on it. I have no idea.
Yeah, I thought it started tugging a bit too much on the heartstrings yesterday. The state, it seems like they didn't have all the evidence they said in the openings, and we're just going to say a 20-month-old baby and poor baby as many times as possible to make us feel he's guilty instead of showing us he's guilty.
Right. The I got to create a different banner. I'm going to do that in a minute when we start. But in the short while, when I have to put up the logo over Ellen Seward, I might have to take down your Baker one for a second. Sorry, just thinking out loud. It would be really nice to have a producer. Josie, Jung, anyone want to be my producer?
Well, anyways, Mo and I have a solution. We're going to adopt a child together, and they're going to do all the tech stuff, and we're going to pay in exposure and cake.
And just adopt a like a 13-year-old that already knows, all those about computers and whatnot. But again, it's the old adage is if the facts are in your favor, you bang on the facts. If the law is in your favor, you bang on the law. And if neither are in your favor, you bang on the table. I feel like the state might be banging on the table a little bit with this whole motive stuff.
Yeah.
And focusing on the bug bite. Now, they made a big to-do about all the evidence that was going to convict this guy of these stabbing murders in their opening statement. Hopefully, they're able to produce. But I feel like focusing on this motive and this bug bite might be a sign that they might their evidence might not be as strong as they let on.
Yeah, but again, it started out really good, and after half an hour, they went into the circumstantial evidence is going to lift very much in this case. Just you wait. Remember all the circumstantial evidence you have in your own day. So again, I'm afraid we're going to see another case where we're probably going to see. Oh, it's
that was my text tone.
Yeah, no, it's a TIE fighter.
It is, yes, exactly.
So
all of my tones are Star Wars related. My son's ringtone is like Chewbacca. My daughter's is BB-8, and
your wife's is the Imperial March.
No, that used to be my mom's. Or actually, no, my mom's was the alarm from the Death Star alarm. That was my mom's. My dad is. It says, "Luke, I am your father." So, and even like my calendar alerts is Lando talking to Leia. Ooh, what do we have here? You know that.
I'm happy I just have these standard because I would mess it up. That's why Mo and I are going to have a child together.
Nice. Yeah. Did you see? Lefty is offering up his 8-year-old, but you know, there's some expense there, guys. You could split it, $35,000 each.
We're going to pay an exposure and cake.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what all of us on the YouTube gets.
Hey, Jamie.
Good morning, Jamie.
Morning.
You ready for this fantastical case to continue?
Yeah. Hopefully we're over this spider bite thing today.
Nice. Josie, you should check out. Actually, I think I only sent it to Flux. I don't know if I put it in Discord. I have a whole room dedicated to Star Wars. But I think I only sent that to Flux directly because I didn't want it out there. But maybe I'll do that. How was your evening, Jamie?
Good.
Did you dream of dead children and spiders?
No. Hang on, I'll be right back.
I was putting a thumbnail together for tonight, and this guy just looks like Jersey Shore to me. So I had to do the Jersey Shore thumbnail. I don't know if you saw it, Baker.
Yeah, I saw it, but I'm not the demographic who watched Jersey Shore.
I will say that
the little chubby, big-haired woman. I know her, but I haven't watched much else.
What's her name? I can't even remember her name.
Snoopy, what's a
Snoopy, something.
Chad, help us out.
What the hell is her name?
Oh, and can I grift for a second?
Oh yeah, go for it.
I have to remember to grift. Everybody over on David's channel who might not have given me a subscription, I'm only 2 away from 200, so I would be very, very appreciative if I could hit 200 today.
Yes, and if you guys are not subscribed to Baker, we're going to do that a few times. If you're not subscribed to Baker, you need to get over there right now and subscribe to him. I'm actually going to, I've got your stream pulled up here. I'm going to put it in the chat right now so you guys can get over there.
Yeah, Snooky, that's the one. Thanks, Indigo and Iris.
Isn't that a game you play with a pool table? Oh, that's snooker.
She probably been played on a few pool tables.
Snoo. That sounds better. Snoo. All right. So a link to Baker's stream, this very stream, so you don't miss anything, is in the chat. You can click on that and you go straight over and we're dual streaming, and then you can subscribe to him if you haven't already. And Jamie doesn't have a YouTube channel. All right. So we got, let me see what's going on here. I'm going to cover the banner, and I know Jamie doesn't want me to do it with the bug, so I'm going to do it with that. But then I got to change this up.
You can.
Snooky is someone's mom now. Oh God,
she is.
That's scary to think about. Do you think she like changed her whole persona? Because for people who don't have kids, Baker, maybe you can confirm this. Once you have a kid, like your whole worldview changes, right?
I told my brother when he asked me how is it to become a father. I said I could physically feel like the old time light switch turn on in my head. I was 24 years old. I knew the mother 14 days before making her pregnant.
Ooh.
I've been deployed for 6 months, so we knew each other for 2 months really. But in the second I saw my daughter, I could just physically feel a light switch turn on in my brain. And since then, my whole life, I've seen everything in a different light.
Yeah, no, it's for me. Yeah, it's like I was 24 too, actually, when my first child was born. I had been a stepfather for a couple of years before that. No, I was 25. But when you have your own, the whole world changes. All of a sudden, it's like you want to be responsible. You want to, oh, wait, I got to provide for and support another human life. That's different. Yeah. So hopefully Snooki got that as well. Some people don't.
We are built that way, so we like our own offspring. It's a good way to make sure they grow up and be old. That's nature made it like that. So
There was a comedian once that talked about having kids, and he's like, I'm married to my wife for 10 years. We love each other. Everything's going fine. We have a kid, and all of a sudden that kid was everything to me. And he like looks at his wife. He's like, you're like a stranger to me. It was like it changed just everything about him, their relationship. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's not.
Oh, and again, but I think for most people, we all have seen the worst kind of people because we cover crimes on the internet. But most people, they understand it's done with the drugs and the late nights and the drinking when the kids arrive.
All right. Yeah, that's usually over with fairly quickly. For most people, there is always that segment of society, I suppose, which keeps me in business. But yeah, for the most part, I always say this too when we cover these trials, and I'll talk about my cases, and everyone that I deal with is at the lowest point in their life or pretty damn near it. And I don't care if you're talking about a civil case and they're all stressed out about it, going through a divorce, criminal charges, whatever. I don't see my clients at their best. So I understand that, and I take that with a grain of salt. So when I see a client kind of freaking out or doing things, I understand that they are not in the situation that they want to be in. And hopefully, again, it's a temporary situation and we can move past it. And that's like a lot of these people we watch too.
And that's also why we have to remember when we're watching these trials that maybe some people come off a bit annoying or something, but again, they are in a tremendous amount of pressure. The sister yesterday, yeah, she read from a piece of paper. They didn't object to it. But again, I think she was 99% of all her willpower was going to keep herself together because she's talking about her sister and a 20-month-old boy who were killed. So
yeah, and sometimes it's easier to read. Well, I know she wrote those down ahead of time. What we're talking about, if you didn't watch yesterday, is that the sister on the stand, who was the first witness, at one point, she sounded really kind of coached. And then I realized she was reading something. And she was apparently had made notes in a timeline of events and was reading from it. Nobody objected to it, and that's fine. But yes, that's what we're talking about. She shouldn't have been reading at the end of the day. But sometimes it's easier for people to read than to try to remember. Like remember and cry while you're reading it, but then just read it on the stand might be easier. So let's see here. Indigo is a proud auntie. That is good. There's nothing wrong with being a proud auntie. But yeah, kids just change you. And the people that, again, I deal with a lot of people in divorce cases. Some of them really don't have any desire to be with their kids, and I don't understand that whatsoever. I can't get my head around that in any way, shape, or form. So I have a hard time representing those individuals. But hey, if you don't want to spend time, at least hopefully the other parent does and does a good job, and you'll pay your child support, I guess.
Yeah, I never understood people ask me, "Oh, you want to go out drinking this weekend?" I said, "No, I'm having my kids." "Oh, can't you have your parents take care of them?" I said, "I have my kids for 2 days every fortnight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can drink for 12 days and then pick up my kids, be with my kids for 2 days, and have the most important time of the week. And then I can go back to drinking after I drop them off at their mom's." I really didn't understand those people who, in Denmark, it's normally Friday to Sunday, or it was back then. Now it's more 7-7 splits we do. But those people who got the kids, left them at their parents, and picked them up Sunday morning, took them to the zoo with a hangover, and said, "Well, what a nice weekend with that." I never understood those people.
Excited says she has one girl, and when she was a week old, I drove down to shop on my own, and it occurred to me that I'm not allowed to die now. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like you're not allowed to die now. You have like responsibilities that you never had before. It's a different thing. I rearranged my work schedule. One of the biggest reasons why I never worked for a large firm is because they'll work you 80 hours a week. And even though there was a bus route, I drove my kids to school every morning, dropped them off. We had breakfast at this little country store across from their school. Then I'd drop them off, and then I'd go to the office, do my work, and then they would take the bus home usually. But I would be home right about when they got off the bus, and then we'd go do something for the rest of the day, put them down to bed at 8, and then I get back to work again, and work till like 10, 11. So my whole work schedule was scheduled around them. And now they're driving themselves, which is wonderful. But when they were young, it was a lot of fun. I don't know. I can't get my head around someone who doesn't want their child.
No, but there's a lot of deadbeat moms and dads out there.
/ whiskey face. Oh, do we have a personal friend of Baker here in the chat?
Yeah, he used to be 2 years behind me in school, and well, he was way behind me in school, but they were nice enough to let him go with all the normal kids. He was he was riding in the back end of the short bus.
He's a hoot.
Don't encourage him.
How do you pronounce his name? Soren?
Son.
Okay. I'm never going to remember that. But
nope.
Cool. Welcome.
You must be able to pronounce his last name.
Oh God, this is good. What we're going to do. Okay, so I was going to say Rasputin for a second. Rasmussen? Is that how you pronounce? I have no idea how you pronounce Danish anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Swedish. We just make it shorter. Rasmussen. That's okay. Why the Swedes say Danes talk with potatoes in their mouth.
If you guys want to know, like, secretly what goes on inside of a Danish mind, just watch a couple of their movies. That's all I got to say. All your movies are like, well, they're like my Discord. All of your movies are like my Discord.
Some of them are. Watching anything with Lars von Trier, that's always interesting.
The SON
Rasmussen.
Hallway. I think they saw me. So
it's Aaron who asks me to say it again.
Okay, please have a seat. Move. You want to withdraw them from admission and then bring them back in?
Yes, sir.
Okay, which ones are they?
That's weird. Why are they doing that? They've already been admitted, so just reference them later if you want. Why are we withdrawing them?
101. 97.
101 and 97.
Make sure your client is out, please. All right, Mr. Burgos is out and in the courtroom. The request, you have missed anything, Mr. Burgos? We just started, the DA's state just requested to withdraw a State Exhibit 102 from admission, State Exhibit 102.
101.
101
Have you seen
and
Irish
97
has
for the
problems
purposes
getting
of,
into a Discord?
we're planning to readmit them at some point
Iris
after
does.
witnesses have gone through that
Send me an email.
exhibit. Any objection from the defense?
It's Michigan law now, but it's also in the about section. Send me an email. I'll get you a link.
They will be then withdrawn with the intent to, at some point during this trial, that the exhibit.
Am I the only one who getting cheese
Okay.
and chung
Thank
vibes from?
I
the
apologize
defense?
again for the delay this morning, but
That's actually, you know what? Yes, Tommy Chung. That's a perfect. That's a perfect.
Talks like this. That's so slow,
God,
man.
why did I not pick that up yesterday? Oh, Cheech and Choggin's going in the thumbnail tomorrow. Indigo, thank you for the super chat. I told you I would pay you performance names to pronounce names. Thank you very much. I will
we had
continue
as
to
y'all know, a
pronounce names
technical
if you want to
glitch
keep paying
with
me.
our audio-visual system. We're up and running. We're good to go. Yes, sir.
Judge, we have, I've spoken to the district attorney's office. We have a witness who will not testify at guilt, a family member who may testify at a possible penalty phase, and we asked if there was an objection if she was in the courtroom observing the guilt phase. It's the same.
All right.
Just inverse is what.
Same ruling. If they're not witnesses at the guilt innocent phase of the trial, maybe at punishment, or even if there were punishment, they'll be allowed to stay in the courtroom. Thank you. All right. Let's bring the jury out. And your next witness has already been sworn in, yes? All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you swore him in all day yesterday, right?
Yes.
Let them know
Jamie,
that we want to
Søren
do-
is asking something about Taco
Come on,
Bell on
Sarah.
the shirt. Do you know what it is?
Well, I said Taco Bell on a shirt.
Yeah.
Not
Bakery.
on a shirt.
merch.
Yeah, well, it ended up on a shirt. It's an easy way to
Wait.
break, Jamie.
Wait, what was that about? Sorry,
It's,
I was editing the face, our banner thing.
It's the impact statement from the sister in the child book murder case, where she said, and now we don't have to wonder if she's showing up with socks and sleeves because you had an accident. It breaks Jamie every time.
I don't get that.
Why would you say it?
Why
in
would you?
court?
Yeah, why would you? Why are you bringing that up?
I don't like Søren. I would try to be respectful when I'm talking at his coffin, just before I start dancing. But still, I would say nice things about him first.
Yeah, let's not talk about that one time. Jimmy has her sleeves, so we're good, right? Is that the idea? She disappears again.
If she can't handle it. She broke completely when they talked about it.
All right, I'll check it in 1 second, Iris. I'll get you.
Please have a seat. Good morning, members of the jury. All right, we can start with your next witness, Ms. Trelawney.
State calls Adriana Flores.
Adriana Flores, please.
Oh my God, I got too much.
Sergeant Lawrence, please bring her up.
All right, so this is the state's third witness.
Fourth.
Or fourth, yeah, I'm sorry.
Remind everyone about their cell phones. Please check them right now. I'm doing the same. Make sure they're on vibrate or off, please.
Mine too.
Ms. Flores, good morning. Please come on up. Thank you. Good morning. You were sworn in already yesterday, is that correct? All right, please have a seat right over here.
Let me see if I can get the quality a little better here. That looks better.
Yeah, no, it's on. It's on. Correct. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. All right. Ms. Flores, if you can sit
Aaron
up
sent
little
me a
bit so that
witness
we can
list.
get you right good on the microphone, Ms. Flores. You can pull the chair up a little bit. There you go. Yes, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to ask you to scoot up and speak into the mic so that the court reporter can hear you. Thank you. Can you please state your name for the record?
Adriana Flores.
Do you know why you're here today?
Yes.
Why is it that you are here today?
Because I was Griselda's best friend.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you to try to speak a little louder. We have a soft voice. What is your relationship with her? Is that as her best friend?
Yeah.
How did you know Griselda?
We went to school together.
Okay, when you say school, can you be more specific?
I met her in middle school and throughout high school.
This her name is Mary,
And
right? Someone in the chat
grades,
remind me.
Did you all share grades or in different grades? Can you please tell us?
We were in the same grade. Yeah, we were in middle school together, and in high school we were freshmen together.
And when did you all become best friends?
Throughout high school, we were really close in freshman year. Then
All right, Iris, we'll do that.
I didn't go to school. I got out of school in my junior year,
Thank
and
you
then
for
we
super chat.
reconnected in 2014.
How did you reconnect in 2014?
We had each other on social media, and we just started messaging each other.
How did your relationship evolve after that? Like, how did it grow?
We just started hanging out more, doing like the mom things, going out together.
Now, when you say the mom things, how many children do you have?
I have 4.
Okay. And you reconnected with her in 2014. How many children did she have at that point?
1.
And eventually, did she come to have another child?
Yes.
And who was that child?
Dominic
Dominic Hernandez?
Hernandez, yes.
Dominic Alexander Hernandez.
Dominic Alexander.
And did you know Dominic?
Yes.
So in 2015, you started doing mom things with her?
Yes.
Like what?
We would just go out. We would go out to eat, shop with the kids. At that time, she only had her first son,
What's his name?
Jaden.
Okay. Did you have any children close to the age of Dominic?
Yes.
Who is that?
My 2 youngest ones. They were a few months apart from each other. Like, yeah.
Do you remember when Griselda became pregnant with Dominic?
Yes, in 2015.
Let's talk about that. How did you learn about her pregnancy?
She texted me, and she told me that she was pregnant.
Did she tell you or discuss anything about the father of the baby?
Yeah, she told me that it was someone that she was dating, which was Anthony, and she just told me she was pregnant, and she didn't know what to do.
Had you ever met this Anthony
No.
at the time that she said that she was pregnant from Anthony? Did you know if she had been seeing this guy Anthony?
I knew
Morning,
she had
Wendy.
been seeing Anthony, yeah, but I never met him or anything like that.
Oh, I am never able to roll my R's. It sounds like I'm gurgling.
You mentioned that you would text
Babe.
Griselda. What other platforms would you use what other types of social media would you use to speak with her?
We usually message through Facebook Messenger and Snapchat.
Do you know if Griselda had a job?
No, she didn't.
What was Griselda doing in 2015, 2016?
She was going to school to TAMU.
Do you know what she was pursuing?
Nursing.
Do you know how she was able to to handle the jobs of school and being a mom?
What
How
do
was
you?
she doing
That's a
financially?
That's a
Oh,
weird
she.
question.
I do know that she was struggling a bit, and she was getting like student loans and helping herself out with that.
And the student loans would help her with daycare?
With daycare, with the school daycare and anything she needed at that time.
Is there
Yes.
did she blackmail him? Is that what they're trying to get in front of?
The victim, you
She
mean?
lived on Dillwood, and I
Yeah, and
lived
that's what's
on
pushed him over the edge.
a neighborhood over, which was like Rancho Viejo.
Yeah, I think they're trying to say that like she wanted a bunch of money, child support, and other like essentially like bribe money, or else we're going to tell your wife kind of thing. I think that's what they're getting at, which gives him the motive.
Yeah, but they're trying to get in front of it and say, "Oh, she was such a good mother. She lived and she had to take these loans, and she did it for the kids." Instead of, she just blackmailed him out of a lot of money.
Right?
It's the same story, but just in two different ways.
Yeah. This is going to be all kinds of baby mama drama in this
You
trial.
call that part of the city off of what?
It's Mines Road.
Okay, so that's in West Laredo.
Yeah.
If the state made her file,
Yeah.
then she was probably getting government assistance.
I want to go back to April the 9th of.
That's what she was trying to get. Like,
She was trying to get government assistance, and then they said, "Okay, well, you need to file for
yeah,
child
she was
support."
trying to get government assistance for child care, but she had to file for child support.
Yes.
How, if any, did you?
So that's how it all started.
But if he paid her enough money, then she wouldn't need the child care, right? And then she wouldn't need to then file for child support.
On April 9th,
Yes.
she called me to ask if she can use my restroom, and she went over to my house.
Do you remember more or less what time this occurred during the day?
It was like around 9 in the morning.
Right before 9 or?
Right before 9, or 9.
Okay. And when she arrived to your house, how did she get there?
She was in her sister's car.
What type of car was that?
It was a white Mercedes.
Was anybody else in the car?
Dominic.
Her baby. Okay. And where was he?
He was in the back seat, in the car seat.
Do you remember what he was doing?
He was with his little phone. He was watching a little cartoon or something.
On his own phone. Okay. How did you go out and greet Dominic?
Yes, she went inside the house to use my restroom, and I stayed outside with Dominic, and I stayed inside the car for a little bit.
Did you have any discussions with her or offer to take care of Dominic?
I don't recall if I offered to take care of him. But I did. I just stayed with him for a little bit and just waited till she came out.
Wendy, you just moved down a few
Yes,
pegs on my
she-
ranking.
To the park.
When you say the park, what park is that?
Father McNoby.
Father McNoby or Father McNamara Park?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. And do you remember seeing any food in the car?
Yeah, I saw Chick-fil-A.
So she was, any particular reason why she was going to Father McNamara Park? You know why she was going to Father?
Yeah, she mentioned she was gonna go to the park to meet Anthony.
The father of the baby.
Yes.
Did you have any plans to see her later on that day?
Yes. We had our original plans was we had already discussed it a day before where she was gonna come over around noon. We were gonna watch a movie and hang out with the kids in my house.
And after she came out of the restroom and walked out of your house to get into your car, did she ask you anything?
Enjoy your golf.
Before she left my house,
Yeah.
she said, "How do I look?"
And what did you say?
"You look great. Call me back. Call me when you're on your way."
The defendant said you look great. Call me.
Yeah. No, she's
Did you see her again that day?
the other way around. She told the defendant she looked great
No,
and,
I
and
didn't.
she should call him. Her.
Oh,
Not the defendant, the victim.
So,
the
Excuse me.
victim. Okay.
talk about this Anthony. Did she ever tell you what his last name was?
Yes,
What was his last name?
Burgos.
Anthony Burgos. What kind of information did she share with you about Anthony?
At the beginning, she just told me that he was a border patrol.
Like that was at the beginning. What else did you come to learn about Anthony?
Well, when we first talked about him, she just mentioned that he was a border patrol and that he was separated, and that's pretty much what I knew about him.
Did you know if he was living in Laredo?
No, from my understanding, he wasn't living in Laredo. Like he worked, but he would just come sometimes.
Like he was stationed somewhere else?
Yeah, I believe so. So I thought.
Do you remember if Griselda advised them of a pregnancy?
Yeah,
To your knowledge, did Anthony ever help her with the baby financially?
no,
How do you know that?
because she mentioned it to him, and he didn't want anything to do with the baby. Like he didn't want her to go through the pregnancy, so he wasn't helping at all.
When you say he didn't want her to go through the pregnancy, what do you mean by that?
He wanted her to abort the baby.
And what was her decision?
She didn't want to. She was going to keep the baby.
So going into 2017, Griselda's having financial problems or struggles in 2017. Griselda with the baby, school, financially.
Isn't that leading?
Yes.
Do you think the defense are going to raise
You guys
any
discussed
objections in this
options.
case?
They haven't objected much.
She
It's,
did.
it's like the one Nicholas
Well, we
covered.
did talk
I
about
think 3 objections.
her
in the
wanting
full
to
trial.
putting him on child support so she can help herself.
What was your opinion about that?
I told her that she should.
So at that point in time, did she know before the decision? Ultimately, did she decide that yes, she's going to pursue child support?
Yeah.
Up until that time, did she know where Anthony lived?
No.
Did you or her? Or
Yeah, right. At
try
least she's
to
not reading it.
Find out more about Anthony.
Yes.
So tell us.
Uh-oh.
Did you help her try to find stuff out about Anthony?
We tried to do our investigation, I can say. We would like go through social media, Google, see a little bit more about him, just see what we can find out. Because you need like an address to be able to report for child support.
So as her best friend, you're helping her now try to find this guy. Yes.
Yes.
So you're using social media, like what?
Instagram, Facebook, and Google search.
Any success finding out information on him, family?
She was able to find Instagram and the address on Google.
Now that she had the address, are we talking now 2017, close to 2018?
Close to 2018.
around that whole child support time?
Yeah, I don't recall the dates.
That's fine. What, if anything, do y'all do?
What if anything?
Um,
What if anything?
we find out where he lives, and we did pass by his house to see if we can, like, if he actually did live here or he didn't.
How many times were you, or let me ask you this, how, if any way, did you get to go to his house?
They haven't shown the defendant yet.
What
have
do
they?
you-
Who was driving?
I would drive.
You would drive?
Yeah. I went like once or twice,
I'm
and I
boring.
drove
They showed him 2 minutes ago. He still has a punchable
when
face.
I was with her.
Does he? Okay. I've been distracted.
Remember the color of his house?
I don't remember.
Do you remember more or less what part of town he lived in?
Around Shiloh Crossing, I want to say, or Shiloh, off Loop 20.
So if you enter Shiloh off of Loop 20,
Mhm.
can you give me just a general direction how to get there?
It's just a little light stalking,
So
right?
around where the Shiloh Crossing apartments are, in that subdivision.
Can I ask a serious question? If the genders were reversed, if it was a guy and his buddy talking about, oh, we're gonna figure out where he's at and do all this and drive by and take pictures, would you call it stalking, ladies? Just a thought. Right? I don't know. You're muted, Baker, if you're talking.
I'm learning from the best. I'm getting myself muted all the time. But where's Farrell when we need her?
Yeah,
Her
right.
restraining orders must say what if it's a crime.
You go in there.
Yes. I
I'll be
don't
right back.
I don't recall how to, more or less, but yes, passing the apartments.
So that's one of the landmarks there, the apartments.
Yeah.
Other landmarks or buildings that you remember?
I remember there was a park nearby, and that's it. I don't recall anything else.
Were you ever able to find out if he had a family?
Yes, we
Tell us about that.
So we eventually found out that he was indeed married, and that the wife actually lived in Laredo.
Oh, why do you say she actually lived in Laredo?
Because at the beginning, when she thought that they were separated, or she wasn't in the picture, there was some mention that she lived out of state.
Where?
In Florida, I want to say.
Were y'all able to discover any information on his wife? Social media on Anthony's wife?
Just her name.
Okay. And were you able to view any photos on her site?
Yeah. We saw some pictures of her children, of his kids.
I'm not saying what they're doing is stalking, Mads. What I'm saying is that
Do y'all remember?
as a woman, if you were to learn that a guy and his buddy were doing that, would you consider it stalking? And if so, why is it different for women? That's kind of what I was getting at. I'm not saying it's stalking.
Everyone could just go a month or a month and a half back, and a guy was convicted of stalking because he had some cameras that could be used for stalking, and had some evidence on his computer that he kept a file with his ex-wife or baby mama's names in it. That was
in a
Zachariah Anderson
related issue. Yeah, I vaguely recall that case. Wasn't there also a GPS that was purchased and never used as well?
Yeah, and a daughter that was not coached at all, saying that he left something in an air duct. Again, had a woman done that, it would just be, he probably effed around, so it was okay for her to check up. I'm not saying there's a double standard, but there is.
And allegedly peeping in a window, that's slightly different. It is slightly different if it's more than one consecutive time. Remember, for the stalking statute, it needs to be more than one. It needs to be 2 or more consecutive acts, which one peep through the window is not stalking. Also, I will add that under that rationale, when I contrive situations to run into who is now my wife in a casual setting, is that stalking? I made it so that, I just happened to be in the place where she was, so I could chit chat with her and, things like that. But
And stalking case is just, does she like you or doesn't she like you?
it's kind of the same
Harassment
between
case-
a hero and a bully, right? Depends on what side you're on.
Yeah, and harassment, again, if he's a 666 guy or a 444 guy, it's way easier for a 444 guy to catch a harassment case than a 666 guy.
Morning, Brat. Morning.
Hey.
At that point, it's when he was like always denying, like this is already like fast forward, he denied Dominic, so we just compared the pictures of his son to Dominic, and they were the same. They looked very alike.
When you say they were the same, you found pictures of Anthony's kids? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we saw a picture
are
of one
expensive.
of his, I don't know if it's his youngest or which one, but there was a baby picture and it looked so much alike, like Dominic.
Permission to approach her.
Amen.
I'm going to show you
Well,
State's Exhibit 490.
If they have found his baby
495,
pictures, it's
494 and 496.
it's kind of stalkerish.
Ask you if you recognize these pictures.
Yes.
That's on 496. 495.
Yes.
See what permission to the witness. I'm sorry.
Sure, I was going to show them to you right now. She's not. I'm just asking if she's recognized as 494.
Yes.
Okay. And these are the images that you all saw on the Facebook.
Yeah.
On the Facebook.
On Instagram, I'm
On
sorry.
Instagram.
On Instagram.
494, 495, 496. Move to introduce 494, 495, 496.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Be admitted without objection.
I'm first going to show you these pictures. You recognize the little baby?
Yes. That's Dominic.
Right here. Dominic?
Well, Dominic, yes.
You recognize these little shoes?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Let me ask you, you saw Dominic on the last day he was alive. Was he walking?
Oh, he was in the car seat.
Okay, but was he okay?
No, I had seen him days prior. He was not walking.
And we'll get to that.
Again, now we're back to the spider bite.
I know.
It's we heard a full day yesterday. It's just not important.
No, because it's not what killed him.
No,
Dominic.
and it could show that the dad tried to do
And I'm gonna
something,
show
but
you the other pictures.
spending a day with it.
Mm-hmm.
He's a cute kid.
That's Dominic.
Who's this little baby?
So I think that's his other son.
In other words, that's not Dominic.
That's not Dominic.
What number is on display now, sir?
This is 495.
All right.
So these little lips of kisses on Dominic. Who did that?
Griselda.
And then it happens that Anthony's son, on his wife's page, she has kisses on his.
Yes.
And they look very similar.
Yes.
Do you remember what his name was on social media?
I'm sorry, who's?
Do you remember what name Anthony used on social media?
Roro Avi.
Can you spell that for us?
I think it's RORO, and then Avi is AVI.
Roro, isn't that something
Mhm.
Scooby-Doo says?
Ruh-roh.
What
Yeah,
else did you
Roro.
come to learn about the relationship that Griselda had with Anthony?
Well,
Like how often would they see each other?
they would see each other just once in a while. It wasn't I wouldn't say it was like a boyfriend girlfriend relationship. It was more like they just dated some once in a while.
Did you ever know how would they communicate?
By social
Sorry, on the
media.
phone with the court. I'll be right back.
Okay. Do you know how she met Anthony?
All I know is that they met by social media,
But you don't know which social media.
not what platform. No.
Do you know what type of relationship Anthony had with Dominic?
They had no relationship.
In fact, did you ever learn about him wanting to give up his paternal rights?
Yes, he texted Griselda that he wanted to give up his rights.
Did you see that text? Or did she show you that text?
Yes.
And you said earlier that you would use social media, or you would use Instagram to communicate with her.
I would use Facebook Messenger and Snapchat to communicate with her.
Can I approach you?
You may.
What I'm gonna do, Your Honor, to be more efficient with time, I'll show her all the text message printouts we have and have her identify them all instead of having to come back each time. So I'm gonna show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 47, 48, 49, and have you look at 47.
Mhm.
You recognize this?
Yes.
Okay. You can look at the next one. You recognize what's in 48?
Yes.
Also in 487, there's a couple of other pages. Can you look at it and tell me if it fairly and accurately depicts what's in there, that it's accurate? And that you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
Can you check the next page on 47?
Are we going to read a lot of text messages again today?
Okay. Now go to 48. You can check.
I think that's a weird thing
48.
to.
Just tell me and tell the court. if
Why
it's
not
fairly
just
accurate.
the recollection of the
Yes.
conversation?
Okay. And in 49? Is that fair and accurately depict 49?
Yeah, that's my.
That's you?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Friends with benefits. Now get it. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the FWB was? Wasn't I listening yesterday? But yeah, it's always until someone catches the feelings, then there's problems. Or get pregnant. That's why Søren and I can't be together anymore.
Well, it never
He got
seems to work
feelings.
when the way people want it to.
No, it's just like open relationships. There's only one of them enjoying the open relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's somewhat Chung or Cheese. I don't know which one. The small ponytail.
Are they reading what it was?
I think it's the text messages she just looked at. Søren, there isn't really any role for her in this other than just saying that she knew she was dating this patrol guy.
We'll move to introduce 487, 488, 489.
487, states 487, 88, and 89. Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Will be admitted without objection.
All right.
It looks
Each
very
one of them is
redacted.
on page.
And that's what I didn't get yesterday. You had big blocks of redacted text. It could be taking things out of yeah.
Out of
It
context.
couldn't. Yeah, context. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. I knew what you're trying to say.
So I'm going to show you what's already been admitted.
It's the waiting for my number 200. I'm just one away from 200.
One? Come on, people. Go subscribe.
So, yeah, Søren, the guy with the fingers in front of his mouth is a Texas Border Patrol officer who allegedly stabbed his side piece and their 20-month-old son and tried to cover it up as some border crossers killing them, is what I got out of it yesterday.
Hey, I'm in a suit now because I get to go to court real quick.
Aw.
So I'm gonna just leave this like it was just a minute ago. But where are we? Do I need to change the banner or anything?
No, it's still the same. I think they're gonna put in some text messages like yesterday. They have big blocks of redacted stuff and then some text.
What I'm going to do is, just in case they switch it over to like cross and then redirect and all that, I'll just leave it as state's fourth witness, just in case, because I don't want to be as bad as I was yesterday. But I'll be back after my court hearing.
Hey.
It should just take a few minutes.
Everybody, if Dave is not here, I can't pull things onto the screen, but I will try and watch the chat and answer as best as I can.
Okay, cool. I'll be back.
So just let it focus a little bit.
And see Sounder, I don't know if the wife is going to have an opinion other than she's not happy.
You recognize this?
Yes.
You recognize the date? 1/13 of 2018, January the 13th.
Thank you for
Because around the time
bringing me up to
the
200.
child support cases, she's gonna
File.
she's gonna file. And who is this text?
That's Griselda texting me.
Okay, can you read that out loud? Because Julie,
It's Dude, I'm bawling my eyes out right now. A, which is Anthony, is thinking about giving up his rights. I know I said I'd be okay, but I'm totally not. I literally don't know what I did to deserve such a douchebags as their dads. Jaden and Dom deserve more than this, more than them, and worst part of it all, I feel responsible for giving them shitty people as their fathers.
Yeah, Mo, you're right. More text. It's so interesting. They're reading it, and as Thierry points out, that the redaction has been done in Discovery, but it just again, it's cherry picking. But we don't want anything that's not related to the case into the case. And why don't they have everything ready?
Starting at the top, can you tell us what date that is?
January 14, 2018.
Okay, this is from who to who?
I believe I sent that.
Okay,
I sent it to Chris.
and what do you say?
When did you send this? Because I just got it.
And then,
Dude, fuck him. Way, he's such a douchebag. He doesn't deserve to ever see nor have anything to do with Dom.
that's what you say?
Yes.
Okay. Go on.
Dom doesn't need anyone but you and your family. He has everything. Don't even try talking with A anymore.
Okay, so now you're gonna say.
Oh, I understand enough Spanish to understand those last three words.
And then we're gonna wait for a translation. Is that right, Judge?
Yeah.
Okay, so, what slang Spanish word do you say here?
I say que chingue su madre.
Fuck him.
And then continue. What else do you say?
I said fuck him with CS, meaning child support, y vámonos que se vaya. And it's a slang word.
Or if you could read it real time, just say it. It's okay. Just go ahead and say it how you said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I said fuck him with child support, y vámonos que se vaya a la verga.
That's
Fuck him with CS, and that's it. He can go to hell.
Nicholas. Yeah,
It's
it's
child
again
biologically, so he
reading
needs to
text
support
into
financially.
testimony.
Nomás hasta ahí, meaning
Better.
And that's that.
And then what else do you say?
Dom will hurt more having a selfish person in and out of his life.
This is the advice you're giving her.
Yes.
And this is where I'm saying
Go ahead and.
you could argue that they pushed him with this. She's saying that they blackmail him
Friday,
with
I
child
think-
support.
Now this is.
Not that it's right.
Clarify for the
be
record, this is
an
from
excuse.
her to you, to her.
If you want
I
to
don't know.
stay
I
out of
can't
the chair.
see, and I don't recall if it's.
Judge, may we approach?
Approach. Yes, approach, please.
But and I know it's no excuse with the blackmailing of the baby daddy and stuff like that, but it can be brought up as an excuse for why he snapped, because his whole life was falling apart and he was losing his wife and everything. Not that it's any excuse to kill them, but again, this guy is trying to stay out of the chair, so I would blame these ladies making up a blackmailing scheme, and she came to force him to pay money, even though he said I would give up my rights so he wouldn't be the one paying child support, or however way this thing works in the US. I'm not sure, but it's just. And again, I'm playing devil's advocate because I don't like Deuce McDouce face. He got a punchable face, but we have to look at him like we would with a guy we'd like in the defense chair. And I still don't like the look of his lawyer. Yeah, I'm sorry, Murph's Turf. I know it's not blackmailing, but again, it's pressure, and things snap under pressure. It's not unheard of. Yeah, and Nicholas is right. We know already they don't have the bloody clothes or the murder weapon. And they started out so strong yesterday with all the evidence they had. And then just suddenly it was, well, we don't really have any evidence, but circumstantial evidence is just as good as any other kind of evidence. That's, yeah. And so, yeah, it's the big problem. You can't be drinking at sidebars. That's, it should be a happy hour. And TV, I'm sure the street version of those things that the translator had to translate is more colorful. Just yet, I don't know enough about the rights in the US to sign away your rights for a child. Maybe Wendy, she used to work with that. Maybe she knows about it. And Britbet, yeah, we have seen some trials where evidence comes in all kinds of forms, mostly non-existent forms, and they still get a conviction. And right now, have they proven he did it? In my opinion, no, they haven't. And again, I watch this as I would in a Danish court when I do my layman duty there. They haven't proven it right now. They have proven he's a douche. They have proven that he had an agreement to meet with her at the park, and that's what we know so far. But right now, if it went to the jury right now, just because of the way he looks, and it's a case with a side piece and a small child, he would get convicted. I'm 100% sure about that. I'm so sure I could be a realtor. Yeah, and it's me, Josie. Yeah, you're right. It's the pressure because everything he lied about catching up with him. But we've seen that so many times in murder cases. People just snap because they've been living this lie and building and building and building, and suddenly they can't lie anymore. And then they have to get rid of the problem. That's what they're saying in the case I have in Denmark with the girl in 231 pieces. He just had to get rid of a problem, so he cut it up. Because a big problem can be cut into smaller problems. And he's going to get probably sentenced tomorrow. They were closing on it today. If anyone was interested in that case, you can follow it over on my channel, The Broken Baker. It's called the Mia case. Oh, and Nicholas is giving hair advice. It's for the cheese and chong guy with the small ponytail. Yeah. Sometimes just give up, guys. Let it run. And Irish, yeah, he would have to pay the state back, and his wife would probably find out. But again, some people do stupid things to try to get out of a problem, believing that I can lie one more time, I get out of it. Like I've been covering this Adam Montgomery case with the guy who allegedly beat his own 5-year-old child to death because she peed on the seat in his car. And he seems like a guy who he could probably talk his way out of it one more time. And he's a drug addict, so he's not the smartest one, and he can't talk himself out of it. And Wendy says you can sign away your child in the US, but it's very difficult and there's more red tape than you think. So it's not that easy. And Dennis Heaton, the defense have proven it more with their 3 minutes opening. Yeah, it wasn't a good look. And you could, even though you know he's a douche who's probably gonna fry, you can always talk for 15 minutes. And 15 minutes, talk about the weak evidence or the lack of bloody clothes, or you can't trust cell phone data or anything. Just don't go up and say, well, when you're going to fry my guy, make him extra crispy. It was almost tantamount to that, what they were saying. And Reindeer, you haven't missed much. This is a sidebar. It's been a pretty long sidebar, and they have been reading some text messages into to the record that this Adriana told the victim that she should get him with child support, and then some not so nice words in Spanish. Yeah, I can't bring it up on screen. It's that's the worst thing about these dual streams, that only one of us can bring things up. But as always, you are fun to talk to, chat. You're always entertaining. No, we haven't heard the defense yet trying to get into this, but they didn't seem that intent yesterday to do much of a cross. They're good at this this medical person because of her history, but they didn't really cross anybody else. But we'll have to see where they think they could poke holes in this. And again, what has this witness provided for the case? She knew that her friend was a side piece. She knew that baby daddy didn't want to take care of the kid, and she knew who the dad was. But that doesn't make him a murderer. It's like the text messages. Yeah, he's a douchebag, but he's not a murderer just because he's a douchebag, because then a lot of guys would be murderers, and a lot of women would be murderers too, because a lot of people do stupid things. But again, it's up to the state to prove that he did it, and so far we haven't had any proof of that. So let's see where we're going with this girl. Justin, yeah, I totally agree. They have to get on with proving the murderers.
It says something about Friday.
Can you find it?
Yes. The 8370.
Okay.
When the age, I would try to use another word, mistress or lover or whatever is a better term for it. I think friends with benefit is just as nasty as side piece.
8370. It says to Adi. Who's Adi?
Me.
Your name's
Adriana. She would call me Adi.
All right, so, and I'm gonna ask you for the record to also say this to and from.
Murph Turf, they call him her mistress on
Okay.
one of the other channels. I don't know. And a lover, I don't think he loves her
So,
that much. So it's
Griselda
hard to
sent
find a
me
word.
Friday, I
You
think.
can call her the victim.
I'm sorry, it's super small. Can you?
So, and that's what she said.
That's a bit better. She put Friday, I think, where he was like, I'm not saying I am, it's just a piece of paper, and that's never going to stop me from seeing him. The only who can say, fuck it, I'm never going to see him is me. That's just a piece of paper that's not going to stop me from seeing him.
What were y'all talking about there?
Dennis,
I
she
think she was
believed he
telling
was
me
separated.
that
And TV,
that
it's
it's just a
supposed
paper,
to go
I
for
guess,
a
because
week
of
to a
him
week
giving
and a
up his
half.
rights.
The next message.
And she sent, and I was like, look, that's what you want? Tell me so we can get it over with. And he just said, no, you've never done anything for me to do that to you.
So what is she telling you that that's what you told her? What do you make of that message?
I'm trying to remember. I mean, I'm seeing this right, but we're talking about the child support. So I guess he's meaning to do that to you, as in,
Yes, if you don't know, that's fine.
Yeah,
The next message.
okay. And so I don't know, like I'm telling him later that I'm just going this coming week because I can't anymore. I was like literally bawling my eyes out that night. I felt so fucking depressed. Like first Jaden, now Dom. Like really? Wait, what the fuck is wrong with me? No mames.
Like, really, dude, what the fuck is wrong with me? Shit.
I love the translation.
The next message is from who to who.
The next one is from me to her, and I go, and what did he say when you told him you were gonna go next week? I think I'm talking about the child support. I'm starting to. She put, I haven't told him, messaging him later, a ver qué dice.
Go ahead, madam.
The translation, a ver qué dice.
I haven't told them, message him later to see what he says.
And then I said, fuck his opinion. I told Griselda, fuck his opinion.
You're talking about Anthony.
Yes, about the child support. Do I go ahead and read that?
Continue this.
So I put, al chile, pinche vato, no vale verga. I hate him and I don't know him. But me da un coraje. He doesn't know what he will miss out on. But that little boy is worth so much more than his part-time. Fuck him, fuck him, fuck him. And not literally puts. Haha.
Honestly, fucking dude isn't worth the shit. I hate him and I don't know him, lol, but it pisses me off. He doesn't know what he will miss out on. But that little boy. The next message is, but that little boy's worth so much more than his part-time. Fuck him, fuck him, fuck him. Not literally. Interpreter needs a clarification on, but
I think we can move on.
Okay. The next message, right?
She put not literally with emojis. I'm guessing it was like laughing faces and no mames, haha.
not literally. But haha.
But yeah, she put, but yeah, I have to tell you the whole convo so you can know everything. Thank you.
Reindeer, I believe it's because they have to translate it to English, and
8380
so everybody can understand it. And
So
yeah.
Griselda texts me, I'm telling him later, so I'm bound to get all depressed and shit when we talk, since I know he's going to probably some slick shit way. And then she puts, he's like, I'm not living there anymore and I don't know when I'll even be there. Like I do, we catch up We catch up tomorrow, but bitch, don't let your phone die. Oh, just in case I get all but hurt. So she wrote that to me.
What does that mean?
That she's gonna talk to him, that they're gonna talk, so she's gonna end up being all sad and depressed, so for me to have my phone on standby just in case she needs to call me.
Next line.
Isn't there some kind of
She
joke
put,
about behind
La
every
Falao, no, but
angry woman
really,
there's an even angrier
Julieta.
friend?
LOL, no, but really, let's see.
And she puts, and yeah, that's what I told him, that he literally had no idea if he's thinking or is going to give up his rights, pero pues I don't know. Emoji faces.
And yeah, that's what I told him, that he literally had no idea if he thinking or is going to give up his rights, but oh well, dude, I don't know.
Next line.
Wendy, you
I
didn't
texted
miss
her, I'll be on
much yesterday.
standby. Love, don't worry, but message me through Facebook or something. Because I don't know why I'm not getting messages a day late unless I message first. So I was having issues with my phone. And she puts, okay, yeah, I will. Tomorrow for sure. Too. I go back on Tuesday.
This is just like most of the sisters yesterday talking about, yeah, we knew
Did she ever,
he was fooling around
Yes, she
while
did.
married. What does it prove about the murder? I know it's for the foundation and motive, but again, does this put him in the park with the knife in his hand?
who, if anyone, did she advise that she was going to be fighting?
Like, who did she mention? Who did she tell? She told me, and I'm sure her family. And I don't know who else. And Anthony.
And Mass says she must have suspected something, never seen his family, been to his home. Yeah, well, he told her he was separated. So that's a pretty good explanation. Dominique didn't tell Travis Rudolph that she was legally separated either. She told him she was single. And as impies say, girl, you know that you were just tired of girlfriend's married man drama. Never thought it would come to murder. Yeah, it's probably something like that. And again, if they were stalking him and knew everything about him, why did she show up in the park without anybody? It's just, it seems weird. Yeah, Dave, thanks for all the 200 who have subscribed to my channel. I was hoping for 50 this year, and now I'm at 200. Thank you all. And Irish, I won't even try to pronounce that in Spanish. I'm sad I can't put it up. We have to have David speak Spanish when he returns from court. Maybe pronounce Spanish last names. It would be more entertaining than reading these text messages.
All right, so what I'm going to do is start over on this side, line 442.
Irish, yeah, it's showing he's a liar. He lied about a wife and lied about being a good guy.
Yes.
So he lied about killing, but again, which guy hadn't done that and which lady haven't done that? Lied about who they really are. It doesn't make all of us killers.
Can I pause it for a second so you can catch me up to speed on what I missed? Anything important?
Girlfriend's bitching about a stupid man.
Okay. Well,
And
what else is new,
you
right?
better get him. I can feel the head shaking in the text. You better get some child support, and he done you wrong, lady. And as I believe it was Mass who said it, she didn't expect these married boyfriend problems ending up in murder, but she was just tired of all her yammering.
I gotta have Indigo teach me how to do that. Will you do the head bob, but the finger stays?
I think
That
our melanin level are too low to. We're too Scandinavian.
Yeah.
We don't move. We just stand.
Right. Yes, and it was successful in court today. I didn't realize I had a hearing this morning. The court called me and were like, "Hey, where are you?" But opposing counsel also didn't know, so I'm cool with
So it was perfect. We had a dual stream set up, so I could keep it going. But again, it's just like the sisters yesterday. Yeah, we know he was cheated. We know he was a liar, but it doesn't put him in the library with the knife in the hand and Mr. Yellow on the floor. It doesn't. It's
and some motive, or it's like it's to make him look bad, right? And potentially motive.
Yeah, but do we need it one more time? We know he's a bad guy. The sister testified to it 4 hours yesterday, and we've been going for almost 2 hours, 1.5 hours.
With this woman been testified, or has she testified at all regarding the bug bite or the injection?
Just that when she saw the kid on the day of the murder, he wasn't walking. Well, no, he was in a car seat, but days before he wasn't walking. That's all we heard about the bug bite. Now it's just reading text that she called him all kinds of colorful words, and they have a translator saying all the colorful words in English back. So that's pretty entertaining.
Fine. But Murph's turf, remember, the defendant is the one who called 911, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he showed up to meet up and found them dead and called 911. That's his story.
And I asked earlier why she wanted to meet up with him, and Matt said, well, it's a public park. Yeah, but she went from the public park down a dirt track near the Rio Grande. And I'm not sure, again, maybe I'm a foreign racist saying I wouldn't run around near the Rio Grande if I can believe the news I'm seeing from the U.S. It's probably not the best.
Either.
It's probably not the best place to be running around with a kid.
All right.
So yeah, I understand why you want to meet him in a public place, but then take this lady friend with you if you're scared of him. She can sit in the park 2 benches away. She doesn't have to sit next to you, but then she can keep an eye on you.
Yeah. So that's the allegation that hasn't been testified to yet. But supposedly he went there to meet up with the mistress and his love child and found them dead and called 911. So presumably there's going to be a 911 call at some point. And all of this is going to come in and we're all going to judge it for credibility and everything else. But I agree so far, just because there could be a motive, there's a lot of motive out there and people still don't kill people, even though they, have motive. So we'll see.
I'm pretty sure that both you and me, our ex-wives, have said things that's not nice about each other. It's a kind of thing you do in a bad relationship. But we didn't kill all of them.
Yeah, we're going to hear the testimony, presumably, about where they all are. Right now, that evidence is not in evidence, I guess.
Okay, what are y'all talking about here?
So, she's telling me, dude, A just replied. A is Anthony. What the fuck do I say? Where are you when I need you? And then she puts putis, meaning that was like a nickname, right? I wasn't answering.
What was going on?
Well, Anthony had just replied to her and she was trying to tell me, but I wasn't answering because I was having issues with that's a text message, so I was having issues with my phone.
At this time, February 12th, is she already moving?
No,
forward?
no.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a place on his patrol, but it was a public park. It was behind the baseball baseball place, and then there was a park, and then there was this dirt track going down to the Rio Grande. So it was at a park. It was this pastor something park. I don't know what's it called.
So it's conceivable, knowing the violence that takes place at the border, that he's a border patrol agent. So this place is close to the border, and that someone else might have done this.
And that's what the state tries to imply, that the defense will be that he tried to kill them there, so it looked like border crossers killed them. That's they talked about it yesterday. That's his story, is that the border crossers killed them and he found them. So it's behind the park. It's at a public park, but he drove down a dirt road, let the car stand, and that's why they talked about 2 times you could see the GPS. But it was in the beginning of the opening statement, and then they went off track talking about spider bites and I don't know what. But he allegedly parked down by the dirt road near Rio Grande to make her come down to him there, and then ambushed her and dropped her in some bushes.
Yeah, and I do, yes, the Emmy talked about arriving at the scene and what she saw. The woman was face down and all that in the bushes. There's a difference, though, between stashing a body in bushes, I guess, as opposed to falling over in the bushes.
Remember the opening statement? She did what any mother can do, because mothers have special powers. She fought back, and that's why she was in the bushes, because she tried to get away from him. You can see the blood trails. It was a very good story. Moms have special powers, so she could fight back. So again, it's let's wait for the evidence. It's, as always, we have the outline now, that we just have to paint the numbers.
Yep.
Yes.
We're not paying attention.
No.
And I always will steel man against the state. That's my nature. And so if you're going to tell me something, you better convince me. Not just that, yeah, it's possible, but that's more likely happened, at least.
Remember March 25th, 2018?
Yes.
Remember anything significant that happened on that day?
Yes. That's my new phone number. So that I had just gotten a new phone.
You know what that means? Did you get a phone call or text?
Yeah, that was a phone call she called me that day.
Never been there, Mads. I have no idea.
You remember that day of March 25th?
Yes.
And this is about 15 days before, prior to Dominic's death, correct?
No,
Yes.
we're going to the spider bite now.
What can you tell us about that day, from that morning, if you remember anything that happened?
So she goes to meet up with Anthony at the Winfield Park.
And were you aware of this meeting?
I don't recall if I knew beforehand, before her going. I just received that call around noon. And that's when she starts explaining to me what had happened.
And what happened?
From what I remember, I don't remember the whole conversation. I just remember her calling me crying.
Okay, let's talk about that. She calls you crying.
Yes.
Please tell the jury what was her emotional state when she called.
She was crying. She was really emotional, she was angry that she had gone to the park. She was regretting her going.
And while she was crying on this conversation?
Yeah, she was just crying and crying.
kind of things was she saying?
She was just saying that, well, I can hear the baby crying in the background. She was just like, that she was regretting going over to go meet up with Anthony, that it didn't go as planned. She just wanted him to see the baby, to have a little relationship, just to meet him, and, talk about the child support. And he had said something along the lines with, me vas a odiar por lo que voy a hacer, meaning you're going to hate.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm not sure, Matt, I'll be there.
Do I keep on?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna ask you.
You're going to hate me for what I'm going to do.
Is that accurate to what the translator just said?
Yes.
You're gonna hate me.
Isn't this
for what I'm
hearsay?
gonna do?
Yes. And
And what if anything do you?
Yes, it's hearsay, except some hearsay is permitted when the speaker is no longer available, in particular when the opposing party is the one who made the speaker not available. Not available could mean dead. It could also mean like hidden or kidnapped or whatever. But yeah, since it's alleged that the defendant made the speaker unalive, it's permissible hearsay.
But again, yeah, I know it's because they can't lie in court. They swore they wouldn't do it. But again, there's no evidence that he ever said it. And the sister said, or was it the prosecutor who mentioned it yesterday? But it's just so amazing. 15 days before murdering them, he's saying, "You won't like me for what I'm gonna do," and just magically the kid's leg turns bad.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's part of the problem with not taking the stand too, because you can't get your own statements out on the record except through yourself. You can't call another witness that was like a party to the conversation to say, what did I actually say? Because that's impermissible hearsay. So you're kind of forced to take the stand when people lie about you. And that's the problem. That's why I always say communicate via text, always, because then you can, first of all, if you're smart, you know that it's going to be read in court and you behave yourself and you say only the right things. And then two, you can actually admit those sometimes, depending on, like in this conversation, if there was text messages that were admitted, you can do through the rule of completeness, get them all in, including your own statements. It's a weird little game we play with hearsay.
and as Impish say, yeah, the defense team is really slacking. But again, if you don't have a case, you're maybe just going through the motions.
Yeah. And given the opening statement, it sounds like they don't have much of a case. So,
and as Wendy says, yeah, it's gossip, and she loves it because she's bored. But where is the proof of the murder? We haven't seen it yet. And did you see the private chat?
yes. Why? What's wrong with her old link?
I don't know. It's Jamie.
Oh, God. Jamie, you have the old link. Okay. All right, we'll keep going. Oh, and remember, everybody, at noon, we're going to stop this. We're going to put a pause, and we're going to direct you all over to Jodi Arias that Baker and I are also covering because Nick is not available. And then we're going to come right back here again, maybe minus Baker, since it's kind of be late there for the continuation of this trial. So you guys are going to be with me all day, just bouncing back and forth.
And see, Sauter, what if he was trying to get a blood sample from the baby? Yeah, he could, but the needles they found in his car was in unopened pack. So again, it wasn't. I thought it was a really good. Oh, they found a needle, but it's in a pack that's locked. So again, that's sealed. So it's evidence of nothing. And but again,
it's kind of weird to get a blood sample of the child.
Yeah,
when
and that
you do
way
DNA
you could just
tests,
ask
you do
for it.
buccal swabs inside the cheeks.
So yeah, but.
I mean, as a law enforcement officer, would he know that? I mean, he's border patrol, right? He's not police. I don't know.
I told her that that sounded like a threat, so she should put a restraining order against him.
That was your advice for her to go get a restraining order.
Yes, I told her to, and just to be careful, and not to meet up with him again. That was around that time.
Did she ever go and get a restraining order?
Not that I know of, no.
Anything else that you learned about Dominic that day? Anything happened to him?
Later on that day, we had a concert to attend that night. So I texted her like around 4, and I was like, "Are you ready?"
What concert?
The Bad Bunny concert
That was here in the.
in the arena, yes. So I texted her around 4, and I said, "Hey, are you ready? Are we still going?" Or something like that. And she told me that she was at the hospital with Dominic because she thought that he had got bitten by a spider or something, that he was in pain.
And what did she end up going with you to the concert, or what happened to Dominic?
Yeah, so she was at the emergency room and he was getting treated, and so I guess they gave him antibiotics. He got treated and they released him, and we did end up going to the concert later on that night
Where did she go?
with her mom.
Pass it.
Mr. Bosch?
Pardon me, good morning.
Good
Yeah,
morning.
make sure that mic is on.
Thank you for being here. I think, and I know everyone in this room is very sorry for your loss. You were Griselda's best friend.
Yes.
And more than that, you were the last person to see both Griselda and Dominic alive.
Yes.
And that's a very heavy burden, isn't it?
Yes.
And ma'am, you testified on direct examination that you never actually met Anthony. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right. And you never saw Anthony and Griselda together, correct?
Correct.
So everything that you know about their relationship is from Griselda. Is that correct?
Correct.
And just very briefly, I want to talk about the evening, actually the 25th. And the 25th stands out because that's the day that you went to the Bad Bunny concert. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you testified on direct examination that Griselda called you from the emergency room. Did I understand that correctly?
No, she did not call me from the emergency room.
Okay. So she called you, and that was the exhibit that the state showed you. Is that the record? Is that correct?
From the text messages?
Well, the last exhibit they
Oh,
showed
okay.
you was a phone call, as I understood.
Yes, but she was not at the emergency yet.
She was on her way to the emergency room.
She was not on, I didn't know about the emergency room till she texted me.
And you actually had messaged with Griselda earlier that day on the 25th in the morning. Isn't that correct?
I messaged her. I'm pretty sure, since we did speak daily.
So she messaged you on Facebook very early in the morning on the 25th.
Mhm.
Isn't that correct?
I don't recall. I'm sure she did. I'm not too sure.
Okay. Would it refresh your recollection to see a copy of your Facebook Messenger?
Yeah.
Judge, may I approach?
You may.
I pass it for the notes, Judge.
Or do you intend to offer that?
It depends on what it is.
Okay, all right.
But I'll take that.
Oh, it's
So,
too busy today.
Look at those messages and let me know when your recollection is refreshed.
You have given me the mute bug. It's an easy case to follow along with, even though you're working, because there's nothing happening.
It's just a lot of downtime. Actually, I thought if there was downtime, I got a box. I got one of my new cameras.
Yeah, I do recall these messages.
Okay.
And Reindeer, yeah, I saw the
those,
interview with Harmony
Facebook
Montgomery's mother.
messages,
It's very
they
interesting.
accurately reflect the messages that you exchanged with Griselda on the morning of the 25th.
Yes, it's just not the morning. It's like after.
So I know you're looking at it, and you say it's the afternoon because it says
13.
UTC 1:40, 13:40. Is that why you're saying it's the afternoon?
Yeah, it's like after.
Jimmy, what happened with your link?
I don't know. I X'd out and then I couldn't get back in. So I just waited until you came.
Ask you.
You're probably clicking on a link for later today.
Probably, I don't know.
I apologize. May I have the app so I can mark it? And
I took the time to make breakfast and stuff anyway, so.
What are you gonna offer?
This defendant is just not doing himself
There was
any
no
favors
break
with this
in the
face.
for
No.
anything, so that's all we're trying to avoid there.
So the disdain of his face is
What is
not a
it?
good look.
And number on it,
it'll be
It's really not.
D1, sir.
defendant's one,
Has she taken her nose ring out since yesterday?
admitted. Can you hand that back?
Uh-huh.
Who found her picture in
It was Merv.
Salvador.
Salvador?
Just one and
Wasn't it
two.
Salvador?
No, or
There's
maybe
two
Murph.
exhibit tags on
Posted
it.
it.
It's 2 pages.
Wasn't Murph? Yeah, maybe.
So I'll do.
This one is fine.
But if she's taking her ring out, because T-Ray asked a different attorney doing the interview today, do they listen to us? And if she pulled her nose ring out, it
2 will be page
could be because we were
166,
after it yesterday.
and defendants 1.1 will be page 165.
Well, she had like a really tiny one. That was what I,
One
did
and
she
one.
even have one?
Yeah, she had a small septum, and that's like the side shave. It's don't go there.
So, reminder to everybody: at maybe 5:10 to
So,
noon
and I
Eastern,
apologize, I put them in the bin.
maybe about 15 minutes or so. We're going to put a pause on this. I'm going to redirect you all to Jody Arias' stream
Trying to evade it for you.
because every Tuesday we cover Jody Arias at noon, and then we're going to come back to this, and you'll be redirected back to another stream for part 2 of day 2. So I got you all covered. You just hang tight, set up auto replay, bouncing around with me all day long.
I apologize.
And again, if you're so inclined, please go and give me a link to put me over 200 because I'm at 200 now. Or not subscribe.
It's
get
the
over there.
4th message from the bottom. It says author Adriana Lynette. Is that you?
Yes.
Okay. And that's where it says sent, and then it's 2018 325.
Yes.
Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes, that's what it says here.
And then it says 133556 UTC. Is that correct, ma'am?
1335. Yeah, UTC.
So if you're watching on my stream and you're not subbed to Baker, click this link right here. It'll take you straight to the exact same stream. You guys won't miss anything, and then you can go sub to Baker because he has awesome content.
Trying to use
The,
it.
document. You just have to focus out of that because I think it's completely,
Even if he didn't do this, he sucks as a person. Yes. However, sucking as a person is not necessarily criminal, right? It's not illegal to be an asshole. I agree with you.
So,
There's a lot of shitty people out there that are just shitty people.
Is the one that says 133546 UTC. And then you have written to Griselda, why are you awake? Is that correct?
Yes.
And that UTC doesn't refer to Central Standard Time that we're in.
Okay.
Is that the way you understand it?
Yeah, that's why that I was getting confused with the time.
And so we're not sure actually if it's afternoon. Is that correct?
From my Facebook records, that would be sent in like after midnight.
And she replied, and then the next, and these are the way that they're ordered here is in reverse order,
Yes.
right? So you asked her, why are you awake? And then she said, I can't sleep.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And then Griselda, in the next message, wrote to you and said, all night with Dom, and right now I just woke up.
Yes.
And then you all have a discussion about going to the concert. Is that correct?
Yes.
This is Cross, right?
Yes.
It's going really too slow.
And I'm pointing to what is labeled as 133656 UTC. It's the fourth message from the top, and you said, "Yay! What are you wearing?"
Correct.
Right. And then the message above that is from Griselda to you, where she says IDK, which you understood it meant I don't know what he has. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. And you understood that to mean in reference to Dominic. Is that right?
Yes.
Griselda was telling you she doesn't know what he has because she'd said that she was up all night with Dominic and that she'd woken up. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. And
I comment
so
based
everyone
on
understands this is the
what
morning
I
of
would-
the 25th before she was taking Dominic to see Ronald. Is that correct?
Correct.
On what I would do as a
And
defense attorney.
I'd
or
ask you to
expect.
look at page 165.
And again, it's just subjective, but everybody judges everyone else by looking at them. We make all our decisions about a person in the first 5 seconds. That's why I'm pre-body language and gonna start doing the pre-body language analysis. But when you see somebody in an ill-fitting suit, you think he's sloppy. If you see a defendant looking bored, and yes, some people has a face that just looks bored all the time, even though they are very concentrated about what's going on, but you still think that guy looks bored. And it's human nature to look at people and judge them. It's what we do because we have to make sure if it's a danger, we can get away.
Yeah, that's the idea, right?
1.1. And then Griselda, and again, everyone understands these are in reverse order, like basically provides them, writes, yes, and he's coughing. And could you read that next line? It's the bottom of the page.
Yeah. Yes, and he's coughing. Así como que se va a vomitar. His eyes are really watery. He just wants to be carried in I know way.
One second.
Wendy, thank you for the Cash App payment. It's always appreciative.
I'm sorry,
Did you hear that? Did you hear it?
Yes.
She heard it.
Did you understand that when Griselda wrote that Dominic had been coughing all night and it looked like he was going to vomit?
Yes.
Okay. And that his eyes were really watery and he just wanted to be carried.
Yes.
And so that was the entire night before Dominic saw Ronald. Is that correct?
According to the date, yes.
And you have no reason to suspect that Facebook has altered the date or anything, is that
No.
correct? Okay. And matter of fact, 2 messages up, so it's 3 messages from the bottom. You respond to her with, "That's Aaron right now, dude." Is that correct?
Yes.
And Aaron, is Aaron your child? or-
Aaron is my child. Yes.
Okay, so your child was sick at the same time, is that correct? Aaron?
Yes.
Okay. And Griselda, in the next line, she describes in more detail about Dominic's condition, and it was all night, was waking up crying and with the fever and whatnot. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
I'm going to steal this, Dennis.
And then eventually,
Oh, Dennis is so funny.
as
That's-
you already described,
Such a true statement.
both decided to go to the Bad Bunny concert. Is that right, ma'am?
Yes.
So, and I just want to, this is summarizing it, and from your understanding and what Griselda had told you, Dominic was sick prior to seeing Ronald on the 25th. Is that your understanding, ma'am?
According to the messages, yes.
Okay. I'll pass the witness. Thank you for your patience.
You are excused before
Thank
She has
you.
a nose ring in today.
Could you all approach real quick, Mr. Peña, Mr.
We done with this witness? I thought this would be a good spot. Yeah, we're done with her. She's getting down. Okay. All right. Everybody. Jamie's
That felt really lame. Did that feel lame to anybody else? It was
It
just so
felt
slow. I was so
boring and lame and everything else.
We spent an hour, 45 minutes talking about what relating to the murder. We know he said deadbeat dad. We know he cheated on his wife, and we know there was some troubles between him and Giselda. But
Yeah.
did we hear that he ran around with a knife stabbing her at any point today?
It's just motive. And I don't like when prosecutors focus so much on the motive. We've had now 1.5 days focused on motive, which to me, again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have a ton of evidence, this guy on camera, but still, why are we focused so much on motive if you have because motive doesn't matter. You don't need a motive to convict. All you need is a dead body and evidence that the defendant did it. Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So why are we
But
focusing so much?
it's
on
like the Montgomery case. When everybody knew he was going to get charged because Harmony was mentioned in the courtroom, but there wasn't really any evidence that he ever possessed the guns. No evidence. And could you trust any of the witnesses in that case?
Mads is waiting for proof beyond a reasonable doubt that the defense counsel has a nose ring.
He's yelling at the screen, "Objection, grounds."
Will that be proved before the defendant's guilt? That's the real question.
But like with me, my perspective of it is just like they're just hammering that he's just an awful person, and that's what juries will convict most of the time.
And again, he's put on the stand. He must have done something wrong.
Don't get me wrong, what he's doing is dirty. It's it's so gross. But did he murder someone?
Haven't seen it yet, and I'm keeping an open mind. He might be guilty as all hell, but we'll see.
I think
Right.
because it's a death penalty too. It's just like I'm trying to be really a lot.
Since I'm redirecting you all over to the Jody area stream, and I don't know if a lot of you have seen our Jody area stream, I am going to send us out instead of my normal exit video with our Jody areas promo, and then I will see you guys over there shortly to start the Jody area stream. And Baker's joining me. Jamie's not, but Baker and I are, and then we'll be back again for the continuation of this trial after that. So we'll see you guys over at Jody.